So this video is about a model that I built. I no longer have the model anymore, so I can't make a video of it. But I have photographs of it, and then you'll see those in the video. It's going to be this kit here, the AMT Mustang GT. I built this kit probably last year, maybe the year before. I'm not sure. I was excited when I saw that it was going to come out because I built a lot of Mustang kits. The first thing that came to mind when I saw it is that I built a lot of the monogram 65, 66 Mustangs, which are, there's like 5 different versions. 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them are the Shelby versions. And those are some of my favorite kits. That kit, regardless of which version it is in my top 5. Not so much the convertible. I only built one of those because I'm not a big fan of building convertibles. So when I got this kit, really what I was doing is I was building it in anticipation that it would be a good companion kit for those kits, and maybe it would be as good or better or worse. Let's see. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, and I added some commentary to the pictures you're going to see and point a few things out. I'm sure lots of people build them and they like them. Some people will never build a monogram kit because it's 1/24. I could care less about the scale. I swap parts between 1/24 and 1/25 scales. I've been doing that all my life. And 9 out of 10 people never know that, so it's just too close of a scale for people to walk by a model and see it at a model show or see it on display somewhere. They're just not going to know unless they're a modeler and they know every kit by heart. It's just in every part in a kit. They're not going to know if you're mixing matching engine parts or interior parts or whatever. It's not a thing with me. I don't care. So, with all that said, I'll let you see this car because I wanted to show you the model. Like I say, I don't have it anymore, so I can't make a video, but I do have pictures. And I may dig up some more pictures of some other kits. I generally sell over time. I mentioned this before, but if you've never seen any of my videos, I've been modeling all my life, but generally starting probably in the 80s, in order to fund my hobby, a lot of kits that don't have any special meaning to me or anything like that, I would sell them. I used to sell them at model shows and everything. This is before eBay and all that. And then, of course, when eBay came around, and I still sold stuff at model shows, but I would sell built kits on eBay. I still have some kits, a couple all the way back to the 80s. But generally, if it's going to be a kit I'm going to keep, it's because it was expensive, it was rare, it was resin. They don't make it anymore, or it just has a special meaning to me for whatever reason. I generally liked it, or whatever. The rest of them are up for grabs. I sell them, I take that money and buy new kits with that money, so I rotate it. This also prevents me from having to box up, 3,000 kits that I, probably built in my lifetime. Actually, I probably built about, I probably built at least 2,000 in my lifetime. It's possible, but at least 1,000 easy over all the years. 60-something years old. So I started modeling when I was 8, but I don't have any of those models. I know a lot of people keep their models. I see them on videos, they've got hundreds of models in cases and stuff like that. And that's fine if that's your thing. I just don't have a place to really store them like that. They're just going to sit in a case. A lot of those models you can still buy today, even though it's a reissue. So if I really wanted one, I would just go on eBay or some other website and just buy it online. So there's no reason to keep the built one. Most of those built, a lot of those models you can only build them stock. So, there's only one way to build a kit, and you build it that way, and so does a million other people. So it doesn't really have any meaning for me in a case like that. And I don't mind selling them. It goes to somebody who may not want to build models or likes to buy built models for whatever reason. They need the parts, or they just like to admire them like they would a die cast, and maybe they have a really cool collection of all kinds of built kits. And somewhere my model might be sitting on somebody's display case where they keep built models. It's not much different than buying a die cast, except you probably get a lot more detail and craftsmanship in a model that somebody else built rather than a die cast, which is more or less a toy. Anyway, I'm veering off course here. So we're going to look at this Mustang, and thank you for watching, subscribing, giving a thumbs up. That's the best. And then commenting. Got questions about the kit or something that I skipped over, just post a comment. I'm pretty good. I check my comments all the time, obviously, and I would answer a question if you have one, if I can. So with that said, here we go to the video. This is the 66 Mustang GT by AMT. I wanted to try this. I never built this kit before, so when it was reissued, I wanted to try it. I built a monogram version many times, but which is a great kit. It's one of my favorites. But I wanted to compare this kit to that one and see whether it was, just as good or better or worse, or I wasn't sure. This is the body. The proportions I thought were good. There's a couple sinkholes on the top of the front fenders on each side. It's like a dimple. Those would have to be filled. I don't remember if there were any other blemishes on the outside of the body. It's molded in white, of course, and it's 1/25th scale. The monogram one is 1/24, which I prefer, but I can build either scale. It doesn't really matter. They're so close to being the same thing. And this is, you get options on like an air dam or a fascia on the front or the back. For some reason, this tree showed a blower belt setup, but there's no blower supercharger included with the kit. Here, to make it a 66, these are the vents that go in the opening. If that was clear glass, you could make it a 65. I think you have that option with the monogram kit. You put glass in there for the 65, the vents for 66. Here on the lower right side where the bumper would go, I'm going to put this valance panel underneath there, but you can see it does not reach all the way to the right side of the car body. There's a big gap there. And here you can see the gap again on the far right. That piece is just not wide enough to fit across that car. I believe when I built the model, I believe I went ahead and used it. Actually, I did, because coming up here we'll see a picture where I used these strips to help reinforce it in the middle. And then because you can only touch one side of the body and not the other. So in order to center it, I used these strips to center it, and then I filled in the two ends to match it up to the rear of the body. Here I started painting it. This car I also used as a paint test for these two colors. I want to build a John Wick Mustang, which would use these two colors. So I was kind of experimenting on painting the stripes and stuff. I wanted to try that out since I was building this kit. This worked fine. I'm happy with the colors. These are Tamiya colors, a silver and a dark metallic gray. And again, they worked fine. The body itself is fine. Here you can see the chassis, very, very simple, rudimentary. The exhaust is molded in. The rear axle is molded in. Those parts are separate on the monogram version. I'm not sure the engine is not too bad. It's passable. I won't say it's quite as detailed as the monogram version, but it's passable. You could get away with it. It came with a dual quad setup, so I used that. I don't know where these wheels are like a Shelby wheel. I don't believe they came with the kit. I don't remember. I could have taken them out of the parts box because I've built lots of Mustang kits and I got lots of Mustang parts. The tires may or may not have come with the kit. They're round 2 Firestone tires. Here's the interior. Basic but okay. You can get by with that. It's a dark red color. I don't remember having any issues with the interior. Seemed to work fine. This is a chassis with the wheels and tires on it. The engine's been installed. Probably the drive shaft too. And again, it's very basic. There's some, things left over when, I don't know if it used to be a promotional car model. I don't know. Here in the back, you can see those 2 stubs sticking out where screws would be screw the body together, and that kind of makes me believe it was probably a promotional car or model at one time. I don't remember if I kept those in there. I may have cut them out. Here the car is finished. It's been put together. It was an okay build. Again, it had some issues. And in my opinion, it's not as close or as good as the monogram kit. But would I build another one? Probably not. There's just be too many things to correct. With the chassis being basic and everything like that, there's just not a lot to go on there. I know you would have to do some major work to it. There on the left side of the engine, you can see there's a gap between the body fender and the inner fender. And it seems like MPC and AMT on all their old kits, there's always a gap there. Just, right away it's AMT or MPC if there's a gap. And there's the simplified undercarriage with everything installed. So, and I believe that is the last photo. Nope, there's one more, just more of an angle view to show you the front. I did put an air dam on the front on the bottom. I think that front valance panel, that's an option too, because you'll notice there's no chrome bumper on the front or the rear, because those were extra parts and I used them. And here's a better shot from the top. Again, it's a passable car if you're not too finicky about the details. It's an okay kit. It's going to take a little finesse here and there to get it to be a great model.